Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the Planning Committee. And our new first item on the agenda, it's mainly for members of the public, is to tell you that there is now a proper fire alarm in this building. So there is no plan to have a fire test. So if the alarm goes off, you need to evacuate, and you can either go out the door you came in, or the one at that end, or through the hall past the prone people doing their Pilates, and out through the fire exit that way. Or in a real emergency, you can go all the way down the far end and go through the fire exit that's the far end. So you've got lots of choice, but we don't intend for there to be any need for it, hopefully. Item 2 is apologies. To receive any apologies for absence?
Councillor Walsh.
Councillor Walsh, thank you. Item 3, declarations of interest arising from the agenda. Members, officers are invited to declare any interest, though they can also do it later if necessary. Any declarations? No. Okay, thank you. Minutes of the previous meetings. Receive and approve the accuracy of the minutes of the meetings on the 17th of May and the 7th of June. 17th of May was delayed till now because when it came up for signature, the people who were at the 17th of May meeting weren't available to approve the minutes. So, where are we? 17th of May, those present were myself and Councillors Jones, Walsh and Watley. There's only 2 of us here again, isn't it?
Oh, defer it then.
Well, you're 50% of the...
Well, we're only two-thirds of the, we're not actually a quorum, are we? Are you happy with them, Councillor Jones? Yeah, so am I. We'll sign them. Otherwise, this could go on for weeks, if not months. Yes, all right. Yes, Joe, I know. And then we also have the ones from the 7th of June. Oh, no, these are the 7th of June ones. So, right, that's the June. Okay, so we also have the ones from the 7th of June. Where present were myself, Councillors and Langford Smith. So, are you happy that those are accurate? Right, okay, thank you. I'll spend 20 minutes signing them now. Not quite as bad as I thought. They're single-sided. Well set, Joe, thank you. you, Joe. Okay. Now we move on to item 5, the public participation session. Meeting will, if required, recess for no more than 15 minutes for questions and comments from members of the public on matters appertaining to this committee. And there are rules to the session, which I will ask the clerk to read to you.
The Parish Council, via this committee, comments and makes recommendations on planning applications affecting the parish. Proceedings during the public session, which will only exceed 15 minutes in exceptional circumstances, must remain under the control of the chairman, to whom all questions and comments on applications or other planning matters must be addressed. Objectors should also write to the head of planning management at Winchester City Council.
Thank you. Okay, I will first go through the applications before us, inviting comments. So the first one before us is Mrs. M. Scott's application of 20 Yew Tree Gardens, Denmead, for ash tree, reduced back one ash tree to the boundary line, the suitable growth points. The tree is encroaching into the garden and blocking all light. It is shedding lots of dead branches into the garden, and remove southern small stem back to main stem. Does anybody wish to comment on that one? No? Okay. Next one, number 2, Mr. J. Spencer's application at St. Michael's, Hambledon Road, Denmead, for a revised application for replacement dwelling previously approved 281022, Ref 2201-720 full, with design and access improvements. Does anybody wish to comment on that one? Number 3 is Mr. and Mrs. James' application, Hiltonbury Forest Road, for a rear single-storey extension following the demolition of a conservatory. Anybody wish to comment on that one? Any other item on the agenda anybody wishes to comment on? Are you here for anything particular?
Just listening to one survey.
Okay, fine.
I actually thought the Uplands Road was coming up tonight.
That was on the well.
Sorry?
There's one in Uplands Road. I thought that was tonight.
No. That one's...
What's on there earlier in the week?
I don't know what quite has happened.
And we're not quite sure what happened there in terms of it wasn't sent out to the councillors at the meeting. So apologies, it will be in 3 weeks' time.
Okay.
So if you wish to leave now, please feel free.
Quite a comfortable chair.
So, sorry?
Quite a comfortable chair.
Oh, you won't find
Really are.
They aren't particularly. If you'd like to tell us which ones you want to listen to, we might change the order.
I'd like to listen to all 3.
Oh, okay, fair enough. We'll carry on then, close the public session and go on to the applications in front of us. And number 1, as I've already said, is for Mrs. M. Scott at 20 Yew Tree Gardens to cut back an ash tree to the boundary line. She provided, as part of the application, a couple of Google Earth shots, as Councillor Langford Smith has brought up, and a photograph of the tree. I delivered notifications on Monday evening. It's probably twice the height of the building. And one of the other items there, Councillor, is a item from, I think it's the PDF on the end, is an item I got from Parish Online. If you scroll that down slightly, you can see number 20, and I was trying to work out whose tree it was, and it's that large one there, and it looks to me to be in the land of Shear. And as I said, looking at it from the front of number 20, it's quite a large tree, and the application is to remove it back to the boundary, effectively. And obviously, as I say, there are a couple of photographs there of the tree. Basically, that's the facts of the matter. It's an ash tree, and it's shedding and overhanging garden. Councillor Brown.
I'd like to make a proposal that we leave it to the tree officer, as we can't see it, and we don't know what it would do to the tree by taking that off of it. I'll second that.
Okay, so show of hands then for those who are happy to leave it to the tree officer. And objecting to that? Okay. Would you like to make a comment?
I don't believe we should be chopping trees back just because they're blocking light.
Well, we could.
But obviously there's a majority decision, so obviously I'm happy to go with that.
Would you like me to record that comment?
No, that's fine.
Okay. We don't know, but the
I
other
was
hand.
asked, so I gave my opinion.
Yeah. Oh yes, I was aware that perhaps I'd accidentally
No, not at all.
precluded you from making a comment.
No, I think it's a very lovely tree.
It is. It's huge. As I say, I think it's in sheer. Right. Okay then. Number 2 is Mr. J. Spencer's revised application at St Michael's, Hambledon Road. There's a large amount of information here. St Michael's is one that was a little bungalow immediately past the little industrial estate where the tool hire company is, which we had 2 applications in the past, one for 2 houses, which we objected to, then last year one which was accepted by Winchester for a single dwelling. And as they commented and I noted on Monday, everything's gone from there apart from piles of rubble. So the old bungalow's gone. That's the application is basically for to move the. That's the one that's been accepted. Sorry. Yes, Councillor.
I was very confused when I was looking at these because this is, it says it's the revised approved floor plan, but this is the original application that was approved. It's not actually the revised version.
No, I think they revised it before, around the time it was approved. Yeah, it is confusing. It took me a while to get used to it. That's the one that was approved last year.
Correct.
Yeah. Sorry, you're the neighbour, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that's.
So this is the new one.
This is the new one.
Correct.
Yeah. There, which is a large garage and a carport, and then a chalet-style house next to it, which is exceedingly large. There are some that is the new one.
Correct.
Yeah, no, chalet style doesn't quite describe it.
It's confusing.
Yeah, sorry.
This here is a new one.
Yeah.
This here is the old one.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes.
That's what's confusing.
I'll accept the comment from the neighbour who understands it probably better than we do, or I do. So basically, yes, it's a garage, a new design of house with a carport between the two. There are windows, I point out to you, in the roof of the garage, but there's no indication of what that is for. That's
the old one.
That's the old one.
So
Yeah.
this is what I say. It's very confusing because the naming,
Yeah.
they haven't used
They haven't-
standard
they haven't-
naming conventions.
No, they haven't. It took me a while to get through to it. That's the
old one.
that's the old one as well. Yeah. There's some more further down, by the way.
It should be date ordered.
Unfortunately, it's recorded as the date they were downloaded. Right. Yeah, that's the new one. The other thing is they asked to move the entrance to the centre of the plot, showing hedgerow, replacement hedgerow because it will be angled back in, and claiming that will give better visibility display. So, no, I won't say any more than that because that would be into comment. And there are plans there showing the layout as 4 bedrooms, but it shows nothing above the garage.
However, it does say it's a games room as well as a garage.
Yeah, it's
That's the old one.
yeah. So
Sorry, Chair.
yeah, sorry.
Could you ask our computer
Don't call me an expert.
to zoom in on that plan, please?
Yeah, the photographs are some. There's one supplied which shows the state of the site, and I took some on Monday evening to show the hedgerow.
Which part specifically would you like to see, Councillor Brown?
Well, it's
Are we on opinion or are we on...
I think we're still on facts, but I think suppose we can go to opinion. There is one in there showing the layout on the 2 floors.
Let me try and find that one.
I mean, my comment on that is it's tantamount to putting a second house next to it.
That's opinion, Councillor.
We've
Yeah.
just moved on to opinion. Councillor. Sorry, Chair. Sorry.
Yeah.
Through the Chair.
I did say.
Which is
Sorry. A, I can't read it from this distance, and B, I can't remember which one it is. That's the old one. They are.
That's a new
That's
one.
a new one.
There must be
No,
another one.
no, that's the new one. Sorry, yeah, beg your pardon. That's the new one. Yeah.
It doesn't show proposed floor plans of the garage.
No, as I said, it doesn't show that. I couldn't find that anywhere. But that's the floor plan of the house, with 5 bedrooms.
Yeah, proposed garage and games room.
Yeah. It does show steps up to it, to an upper floor.
And windows.
Yeah. And windows at the back as well. And on the side, if I look a bit.
Yeah.
Well, those are at garage level. Assuming they're looking west, and they're not going to be looking at anything other than a electrical transformer. So, yes, Councillor Ashton-Smith.
This looks to me, from the street scene, that it's a house and a bungalow next door, which amounts to two buildings in the gap. The previous plan, the garage was integrated and it looked like one house, which is in keeping with the other large dwellings that are along that line. This is not in keeping, in my opinion, with other dwellings that are along that stretch of the road, and we do need to be mindful that it is in the gap.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, this is only a carport in the middle here.
Yeah.
So what's to say that you couldn't just remove that? Especially since the driveway has been relocated to be central and therefore could be a shared drive or could be widened even further to allow access for 2 separate drives. I know we can't have a crystal ball, but the facts are that is 2 separate buildings with a carport in between.
Any other comments, opinions? Yes.
I am of the same opinion as Councillor Lambert-Smith.
Councillor Jones?
Well, I'm not sure that's a planning reason to object to any side.
Coalescence of Denmead and Waterlooville.
Well,
Because there's additional buildings.
I would say that a comment saying we object on the grounds that it now looks like two separate buildings instead of one cohesive whole, and does not match the rest of the street scene, because the other two houses are big. In fact, our visitors is impressively big, but it's they are a whole building, and that I think we could say that doesn't match the street scene in terms of it looks like two buildings, and I would suggest we also comment that if they are minded to pass this, then a clause should be added saying that the garage must be remain in the privilege of the property in perpetuity. Yeah, so that was me.
My only problem with asking for that is the fact that Winchester don't ever stick to their own notes when they put conditions like that, and they tend to overrule the condition when the application next comes through for it to be a separate dwelling.
Councillor Brown.
I would say that we object, but we ask if they're minded to, the officer is minded to do it, we ask for it to go to committee, which then we have the opportunity to put our point over.
Do we want to make any comment about moving the access and taking out a large amount of hedgerow?
I would say so, because we already commented last time the fact the site has been completely cleared of all biodiversity when actually it was a very mature garden. So I think we need to reiterate that point as well.
The application says, I believe, as opposed to not just implying, says that the previous owners did that, and that they will put the garden back in. On the other hand, there's not much space for the garden there.
It makes no difference as to who did it. It was done after the period where it has to be a biodiversity net gain.
Oh, I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying that the applicant claims it was a previous owner who cleared it and put the hard standing down. Yeah, Councillor.
I would say by separating the buildings out and taking up more of the plot with structure, it would be very difficult for them to meet the biodiversity net gain target or requirement.
Okay. So we are strongly objecting on the grounds that it doesn't match the street scene because it looks like two separate buildings.
Well, it's an additional building.
It's an
It is
additional building
in
the gap.
Yeah.
As opposed to being coherent with the main building. Putting in two structures like that makes it very difficult to meet the biodiversity requirements. Anything else?
Removal of hedgerow for the entrance.
Oh yes, we are happy with the unnecessary removal of hedgerow when there is a perfectly adequate access already there. You okay with that, Jo?
Yep.
And that we would like it to go to committee if the officer is minded to approve it. We all happy with that? Yeah, show of hands then. Thank you. Okay, number 3, Hiltonbury Forest Road, single-storey rear extension following the demolition of the conservatory. I don't know how many people know where Hiltonbury is. It's the last house on the right-hand side as you go up the hill over the top before dropping down to World's End. It might well actually be classed as part of World's End. So it's past the other two houses, one of which has the caravans parking site. So it's past Lower Cravick, and it's the third one.
Right, yeah.
Basically, probably the easiest one is the block plan. Councillor, that one will do it, isn't it? That gives a lot more detail than necessary, but there's a conservatory there at the moment, and they could propose to put in what some people would refer to as an orangery, judging by the two roof light,
It's a lantern.
lantern lights, thank you. And that's it really. The house is down in a dell, and I suspect that a fair number of people who go zooming down that part of Forest Road are not necessarily even aware it's there. Yeah, that's all I was with.
I can see no material reason
No,
for
I don't
defect.
think anybody can see it, so I support your suggestion, and we have no objection. Show of hands then. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that's one of the easier ones. And we moved on to decisions received. I'm doing that's with Langford Smith there. I keep turning this thing off. Okay. We've got a copy of video, yeah?
Yes.
You're not too hard. Sorry. Thank you. So, where are we? Denby Parish Council's application to try and save a turkey oak on the edge of Ashling Park was permitted. Ms. Bing's application for a single-storey annex to Soak House was permitted. Mrs. R. Watley's side attached annex extension was permitted. Furchees, Fursley Corner, Denmead's discharge of conditions 7 and 10 for a planning application was permitted, and that's it. Thank you, Jim.
Sorry, Chair, there's another one.
Yeah.
Haylands, Mr. Bateman's.
It wasn't sent round to councillors again. I've put it on the next one.
Yeah, you've got the full. You've got the full.
I
list.
got the
That's because the chairman of the council has hers on paper. Everybody else has it electronically. Okay. Correspondence. 2 items have been received. An update from Winchester City Council to Persimmon Homes following their on-site meeting on the 5th of June, which we note. An email from Persimmon on the 13th of June in reference to the transfer of the Natural England A14 mitigation licence, which is item 10 on the agenda, and we have received a notification of an appeal for plot 2 of Pony Paddock, Hipley Road, Hambledon, and basically they are appealing the decision. I think it's the decision to evict them, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
So we await developments there. Another few months. Councillor Brown.
Take it the fact that they put it to Hambledon, it doesn't confuse issues,
Um,
because it is the wrong address as Denmead, not Hambledon.
yeah. Yes, very often Winchester put Hambledon for Roads End. Okay, item 9, matters arising and outstanding matters. Item 9.1, a developer request for a pre-application meeting. Actions ongoing, I think we're due on the 11th of July, 10th of July. 10th of July.
Can't remember what it was now. 6th?
No? It's the school lane one.
Yeah.
10th of July.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, that's Thursday. It's the 10th.
oh, okay. I'm getting mixed up then.
I don't think we've got a date for the school.
We haven't got, okay. Okay, apologies. It's not the one I thought it was. So, 3 councillors represent the proposed south. Yeah, okay, that's the school lane one.
Yeah, that's School Farm Brothers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't think we've got a date for that one.
Okay, I'm getting mixed
Nearly
up between
have.
the two.
Nearly.
I sent you a question earlier.
Okay, I've not seen my emails,
Yeah.
I've been in a previous meeting.
Right. Health and safety issue at Northern Public Open Space, Kibble Field. Persimmon Homes have been asked to strengthen the fence boundary following an incident, and the action is ongoing.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
We established at our meeting the other day that actually it's not Persimmon's boundary.
Mm,
Yeah, I was going to put it on the next agenda to refer it to amenities. It's too late to put it on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's in the licence strip.
yeah. Okay. Item 10 then. Sorry, Councillor Brown.
Why would that go to amenities at the moment? It's
Because
but at the moment it's being dealt with by Persimmon Homes.
No, it's
It's-
not. We
it's-
don't own it. Persimmon don't own it. It's that boundary.
I know it's in the ransom strip.
So one side is owned by the carpenters and the other side is owned by the parish council because it's Kidmore Field. Therefore, it needs to go to amenities
Would it,
because amenities deal with areas of land.
yes, Councillor Brown.
well, I would have thought it should go to full council.
We can discuss that outside.
That was what I was going to suggest.
It's not for planning to make a decision in that sense, but yeah, yeah. Okay, item 10, which covers a lot of this anyway. A letter sent to Winchester City Council is to be sent to Winchester City Council and Persimmon Homes with reference to the following unresolved issues. And myself, Councillor Langford Smith, and our clerk had a meeting on Monday to thrash out what we actually wanted to say to both parties, and that has been sent. The A14 mitigation licence, which is to do with the newts, it would appear that somebody has to be named on that licence. We wanted to make it basically probably been the parish clerk, but that apparently no, it has to be named person, and Persimmon I think in their latest have said they don't think they can transfer it, but that remains to be seen. We've also raised the problem with the ransom strips which go around the two parts of the development. Both Winchester said it's not their problem, and we have pointed out to them that they are due to take over the Ann or Kidmore Green, whichever we're going to call it, for the year before we take it. So how are they going to maintain it? And at the very least, we need the owners of the ransom strips to tell us how they're going to maintain all their hedgerows without actually trespassing across our land or somebody else's. So that's another point we've raised. The surface water issue on Tanner's Lane, Winchester have decided that in their last meeting that it's not Persimmon's fault. We are arguing that point. And there's various actions still needed with the public open space, including access to the little bit of land off to the right beyond the Suds Pond, which is coming to us, and at the moment we can't get in there. Persimmon have said, oh, we've sorted that. Well, we haven't. So there's several items. Yes, Councillor Langford-Smith.
Just to bring committee's attention to the fact that we've also identified that the gate into the open space at the top on the left-hand side, which is adjacent to the boundary and allows access into the field, is in the ransom strip, and therefore we couldn't put one of our posts up because it won't be our land, and therefore it's always going to be available for traveller incursions. So this is something else that we've raised with Winchester and
Yeah.
Persimmon.
So there's probably one or two. Yeah, Councillor Brown.
Just with Winchester saying it's not Persimmon's issue, the water coming onto the land. If it was the housing estate, which is a piece of their land, it would be a problem.
Yes.
It makes no difference. It's still a piece of land owned by someone.
Yes. My comment was that if it was a householder, it was with the slope running down to the thing, they would have had to put a drain in, and that's what basically 18 months ago. That's what Winchester's officer said they should be doing, and he seems to have changed his mind since.
If you remember when we were on the walkabout,
Yeah.
we stood there and the water was literally running, and you could see it was running from the pond straight the way down onto the road and then across the entrance. So we literally had to walk through the puddle to get into the area. So there's no question of where the water is coming from. It's draining from that land. So if ultimately the parish council take it over, we're then taking over responsibility for that water being drained onto the highway, and Hampshire Highways will make us deal with it. And I don't think it's fair that we ask the people of the village to pay for that when it's person's responsibility at this point in time.
Councillor Brown.
Potentially it's the fact that they haven't done ponds big enough,
Absolutely.
because the farm that is up Kidmore Lane, that used to flood the road there,
Yeah.
they enlarged the size of their pond
We do.
to be able to hold the water, and so it could drain away
And,
slowly.
and it does. It's slightly more complicated than that, I think, because the two ponds are linked under the path, and the left-hand pond, as you look in, drains into a ditch. So the fact that the right-hand pond seems to be overflowing and running down onto the road suggests that the connecting pipe between the two is inadequate. But that's not our problem at the moment. We just continue to argue it with Brisson and Winchester. No, we know here there's a note saying that Persimmon Homes have requested the Parish Council's agreement to submitting a licence modification for the A14 for the Newts, and with a named individual, and we are invited to discuss a determined action. Councillor Langer-Smith.
Yeah, I mean, what we discussed on Monday was, do we actually want to take over this licence? Because there are legal implications for the person that takes the licence. We don't have anyone that has ecology qualifications, so I don't actually know if we are the right people to take over their licence. Do we want to pay for somebody to become an ecologist and to then take responsibility for the Great Crested Newts, or are we happy to leave that with person for them to sort out?
Councillor Brown.
I can't see that any member of staff is going to want to take that responsibility on.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's right that we ask a member of staff to take it on.
Yeah, well, that was part of our discussion on Monday about that. The legal entity, if you like, from the council is the clerk, but we were not happy to ask the clerk to do it. But as I said, the latest from Persimmon is they don't think they can transfer it, as far as I'm aware. So they, our decision here is to discuss and determine action. Do we basically wish to... Sorry, Councillor Brown.
Well, yeah, I would say that we don't wish to take it on. We just don't have the knowledge to be able to take it on.
Councillor Smith.
I think at this point in time, it's, for us as a council, it's in the very difficult box, because there are an awful lot of complications with it at this point in time. We've got the ransom strips, which is a huge issue to sort out. We've got the potential for traveller ingress because of the ransom strips. We've got the issues of the water, and there's also the issue of, as we've just been discussing, the mitigation licence. I just think it's too much of a headache and too much responsibility for us to take on at this point in time. I think we should leave it with Persimmon and Winchester to sort out, and we will consider taking it over when it's not going to cause so many issues for us and potential liabilities for the village to pay for.
Whether that boils down to also not getting the public open space is a question that needs to be answered at some point. Councillor Brown.
Do we know if the mitigation licence includes the ransom strip? Because if not, then who is responsible for the ransom strip? Because it's in the same field, which means that someone should have taken that one as well.
The ransom strips don't run along the road.
No, but the new fencing did. Not along the road, but all the way around the area that's owned by the carpenters.
Yeah.
That was where
on-
the new things were moved.
Yeah.
And the high vernacular is in the carpenter's ransom strip.
Yeah. So the ponds that the Environment Agency made them put in, which are, as far as we're concerned, causing the problem on Tanners Lane, they people can get in there without crossing the ransom strip because there isn't one there. And therefore the newts can do it without crossing the ransom strip, but but the high vernacular
is in the ransom strip.
is in the ransom strip, so that needs to that's something
That's something else that we haven't thought of.
we haven't actually flagged to
Yeah,
Persimmon.
absolutely.
Yeah, this is one of the more complicated ones. So I would propose that we actually don't determine any action until we know we go any further and leave this item. And it may well be that that's an item we need to refer at some point before cancelled.
Yeah.
Councillor Brown?
Is this something we need to take some legal advice on?
We discussed that on Monday, I think, didn't we? We decided, I think, that we would leave it for now. We have that option, but we need to get Persimmon to come back and tell us what they perceive the situation is. But as I said, I certainly think they're on the opinion that they can't actually pass it over, and it runs to 2039. So,
That's okay.
Councillor,
My view is that once Winchester take responsibility for this, or Winchester know that they're going to need to take responsibility, they will not want to hold on to it for very long. They've got a year, so they will make Persimmon sort the stuff out. I think Winchester at the moment are thinking that they can hand it over and they'll just babysit it for a year and then pass the problems on to us. And we're making it quite clear at the outset that that's not going to happen, because it's going to cost a lot of money.
So, yeah, and if something goes wrong regarding the ecology, the newts, then that will cost a lot of money in fine.
Yeah.
Councillor Brown.
It's also something that was never pointed out to us until a member of the public came to this committee about a tree application.
Oh, the ransom
about the
strips.
ransom strip.
Yeah.
And then this is all snowballed from there.
Yeah.
So anyway, though we're discussing determined action, I think our action is we do nothing at the moment until we know more.
Agreed.
Yeah. Everybody happy with that? Yeah. Okay. New planning applications. For one of which some people have already seen.